Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm with Rob Sargent on Monday, the 27th of April. And I made the chat just before the weekend. I wanted to ask Rob some questions about his Say No to Rightmove campaign, along with the others that are coming along with him, other agent organisations. Rob, I would like to ask you some very difficult questions. Are you up for that?
Yeah, that's fine, Chris. Good morning.
Morning. Right, okay. The first question I'd like to ask is how much have you been bribed by On the Market and Zoopla for this campaign?
Absolutely nothing. You've got to bear in mind where this started. This was a campaign that was instigated by me on behalf, really, of Acorn Estate Agency as a result of Rightmove's poor reaction to COVID-19 in reality. So there are no incentives.
I mean, you've got to remember, mate, that this is going on YouTube, and in the future, someone could throw this back in your face. There is absolutely nothing going on between you personally and the Acorn Group and On the Market and or Zoopla. Because if you don't mind me saying,
there's nothing. I'm happy.
You seem to be pushing them a lot at the moment.
Yeah, I understand exactly where the question's coming from. It's a matter of public record that Acorn is an original gold member of On the Market. So that's alongside 3,000-ish other agents that are shareholders and members of On the Market already. And Zoopla, I'm talking to Zoopla on a regular basis. I reach out to all three portals weekly. And I have helped agents who are trying to negotiate strategies to put themselves in better position, and that's involved conversations by the agents with both Zoopla and On the Market. But in terms of specifically promoting either of them, no, that's not the case. They are options for agents who are trying to reposition themselves in the current portal market.
Okay, have you been given any special deals by Zoopla or even Rightmove?
No, in terms of Zoopla on the Acorn front, Zoopla have approached and asked me whether or not I want to hear what their proposition is. I've said it's not appropriate at this time, and I've rejected any further dialogue on that front with Zoopla. On the Market, I still have the original deal, the same deal as is public. And with Rightmove, interestingly enough, I have the 75% discount deal, and I have a package because I'm out of contract with Rightmove that is stripped right back to the basic products of Rightmove. And that's by virtue of the timing of where I am with Rightmove.
So just to confirm, you're going on record that you have received no specialist or specific unfair advantage of either cashback or any consideration from any portal because of this?
Absolutely none. I had a friend in another agency come to me at the end of last week that suggested that I teamed up with a couple of larger agents in the food chain with me, and I was no longer paying Rightmove, and I'd done some kind of strange deal. It's a bit weird. I'm not quite sure how Rightmove would possibly countenance something like that when I'm running a campaign as strongly as I am against their existing proposition.
But come on, what's your angle behind this? With the utmost respect, it's bloody hard work out there as an estate agent, and I know for a fact, because you've gone on record, you've got 7 or 8 people that you're paying out of your own hard-earned cash for this. There's got to be something, mate. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, well, I tell you what, there is, in the sense that I want to bring about a serious structural change. Again, I've gone on record. Last year, I spent £500,000 with Rightmove, and I've gone on record again at saying that this is something that's has kind of been a major bone of contention with me for over a decade, and it's just become stronger and stronger and stronger. So, yeah, with the rest of my board and my business, they see a positive outcome for this because it will change in the end Acorn's relationship with the portal sector as well. And for the time being, we have sufficient resource to continue this campaign. I'm also reacting to the level of support that I've had from agents up and down the country. That's very motivating, and it's something that I've enjoyed representing.
But surely your shareholders in Acorn must query the fact that those 7 or 8 people and their CEO is focusing something which will help you indirectly, but that time and effort could be probably better spent trying to protect your own business than trying to fly the flag. Surely there has to be an angle. Are
Yeah.
you are you trying are you trying to up your investment in on the market and your shares with that?
Uh, well, again, on the market side, good question. On the market, if on the market succeeds and flourishes, clearly any shareholder will benefit. And let me go back again, Chris, and remind you that you've got 3,000 shareholding agents in there. So from that side of things, I'm lucky at Acorn. We have 400 staff, 3/4 are furloughed, but I've got a fantastic senior management team that are all still working. They understand. We communicate all the time, and my day is a very, very long working day. My wife bought me this cup on Saturday. It's our 21st wedding anniversary. So she even questions the amount of time I'm splitting between Acorn, the Say No to Rightmove campaign, and even our family. But it's the right thing to do at the moment, Chris, and I will continue to do it.
And you're not getting any bungs or any cash from any of your big agency mates, just trying to feather the nest, and you
quite the opposite, Chris, on that. And you begin to see that also new challengers and suppliers to the marketplace try to come around the edges a little bit of this campaign. I am talking to, whenever I have time, any new idea, any new challenger to the portal sector, but I'm not here to direct traffic in that way. The reason that I talk earnestly to Zoopla and to On the Market and to Rightmove insofar as they will talk to me, and that's relatively limited at the moment, because I'm trying to open up avenues for agents within our group to bring about change. And in the short term, nobody can deny that the 3 major portals in the UK sector are the ones that I'm talking to. That does not preclude all new challengers coming into the marketplace and proving themselves. And I'm certain agents will help them do that too.
It's interesting you talk about other challenger portals. I've heard that a lot of feel that you're ignoring them at the expense of being focused on the market and Zoopla. Is that a fair comment?
No, it's not. I'm not here to validate portals on behalf of the Say No to Rightmove group, but I am talking to portals and I am working through that. It's a very, very, going back to how I manage my time, I'm working the longest days, and nobody should feel sorry for me on that basis, but I'm working the longest days I have to maintain the Acorn working day and the Say No to Rightmove recruitment and development of our strategy. So, it is what it is.
I mean, are you preparing to launch your own portal?
No, absolutely not. I learned a long time ago, if you've got a really good supplier that does a job really well, saves you a massive amount of money, but that has to be fair. Let me just say, I think a good way to encapsulate it, Rightmove are good, but they're not good value.
Coming back to your shares on the market, would you ever sell them?
Would I ever sell them? I don't think so. I think it was a long-term investment. I think we would hold in there. Wouldn't be, once we commit to something, we commit and we stick. So I think it's a very, very competitive marketplace, the portal sector. It's been quite a bloody battle for each one of the portals to get to where they are now. The problem is the revenue that's coming off the table, or the amount that's being paid out to portals relevant to the returns, don't feel quite right and don't feel quite fair as they sit at the moment.
What would you do with any profit you got from on the market shares?
I don't know, Chris. I mean, what would any agent do with any profit that they make? It's not exclusive to me. The losses in value of my shares and the gain in value of our company shares, they're held corporately, and the company shares, they ebb and flow alongside the other agent owners. And there is one plug I will make, or one observation I will make. It is still by share 60-65% agent owned, which is different from Rightmove in terms of the makeup of its share ownership. But agents need to make up their own minds. Agents need to make up their own minds on where to place their losses.
Have you been offered any additional shares by on the market for this campaign?
No, Chris, and I haven't. I've had a busy morning, but I'm aware that new recruits to on the market are being offered share incentives. I've also picked up, and I read very quickly, that there's a little bit of derision from the existing shareholders saying, we've been here a long time. I suspect On the Market are aware of that, and I suspect they'll do something about that. But who knows exactly how that offering will evolve? This is all ongoing. Zoopla have evolved their strategy as well, and others will do. I predict that we're going to see more challengers entering this battle. We've got probably a 6, 8, 10, 12-week window here. Depends on the lockdown, depends on obviously the run into the Rightmove discount period. And I'm certain more new offerings are going to come into the market, and existing portals will morph and change their propositions.
Someone's actually accused you of being, because you've now identified and know your target audience and found a legal loophole to boycott Rightmove. Are you planning to join as the new CEO of On the Market?
Chris, I think if
I'm just answering the questions, mate.
if on the market won the recruitment drive, you never know, they might be on. You might be on their list as well. But for anybody who knows how public companies work, that's not how they make their appointments. No. I mean, and again, primarily, I'm the CEO of Acorn Estate Agency. That's what I intend to do in the future, and this is part of that. This started as something that was relevant and personal to my business.
Okay. Quite recently, you've been slammed for your lack of long-term vision. Is that fair? I mean, Ian White said he's so desperate he wants to be behind your cause, and its aims are just not clear enough. Exactly what is the aim? What is the plan after the aims are achieved? And what are we being asked to get behind?
Yeah, I understand that completely. And I've also, when we're talking to the other groups that have got behind us as well recently, it's very, very difficult to just wave a magic wand and get from where we are today to where in agents' world, the utopia of a more balanced portal environment. So it's quite hard to just achieve that all in one step, and it isn't going to be achieved in one step. I'm very much about a modern portal marketplace, greater competition, more innovation, and a realization. If you ask me, what my goal is, the realization of all agents that the content that we provide throws off the data that is so valuable for any supplier to our sector, that the primary goal is to bring about a leveling out of that. You can't have agents up and down the country running one office, paying £3,000 just to one portal, let alone maybe listing with the other two. So the long-term vision is a freer market that allows the other offerings to reach the agent community, and that will be leveraged and paid for in a fair and balanced way. That's what we're going to get.
What would you consider is a fair deal that Rightmove give to the industry?
Well,
I mean,
I can't comment on exactly what is a fair deal for everybody. But we've done a survey, and the survey results are coming in, and they'll come in across this week. But we asked the question, and roughly speaking, of our members that have responded so far, and we're at 1,400 agents owners. We asked the question about under £500, 500 to £1,000. 75% of the people that responded thus far all felt that the value was below £500. And the other 25% were seeing value at slightly higher than that, 500 to 1,000, and a few that still thought Rightmove were value 1,000 to 2,000. Just one other statistic on that: of our group, there are sub 2%. That are satisfied in any way, shape or form with Rightmove's offering.
Is it fair that a one-man band should pay more than you? Because let's be frank, you've got 36 offices. Your cost per branch is going to be a hell of a lot lower than the one-man band.
Yeah, I get that entirely. But equally speaking, our ability to pay in theory, if we're we're fully geared up and we're sort of rolling, should be a little bit stronger. I think there probably should be some incentive for the more branches you get. I think there should be greater support as well for companies that are on the expansion trail. But the disparity is too wide. It's unacceptable. You can't be at the most major corporate paying sub £500 and the smallest paying £3,000. It's disproportionate. So I don't think anybody would begrudge an agent that's on a growth trail that's add another 10 branches to get some form of incentive. We already get that a little bit now. As a group of our size, we get free deals from portals for the first period of time of opening an office. It might be 3 months or 6 months or whatever. But it's the disparity. An agent pays 3,000 and another agent in the same high street is paying the same supplier for fundamentally the same service, 500 quid.
Do you think all the portals should have a transparent charging model that everybody is aware of?
Yes, I think they should be. It should be easily understood. Absolutely. I'm sure this next comment will make every agent in the country smile. When you have a review with Rightmove, it's almost as if they're talking a foreign language. For the first 5-10 minutes, there's a script that is fed back to you at the end of the year, and you're just hearing all these different noises. And in reality, in recent years, I just cut off to, okay, so what's the increase? And so, yes, and the matrices and the method of delivery in the extreme, Rightmove are the worst. Without doubt, they're the worst. And the interesting thing with the new offerings that are coming to the market, in fairness, and I've spoken to a few, they're much clearer. They're much, much clearer about what they're about. They're much, much clearer about the need to look after agents and the recognition of, we generate these leads. We generate these leads. It's our stock. I'm fed to the back teeth. If I take on some great properties, the public are coming for those. It's almost like, Rightmove adopted the telephone line. So every phone call you get down telephone line, they claim to belong to them. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. They're a great business, but they are not what's driving the eyeballs to our property. It's our stock that brings the real attention to Rightmove.
What do you think Rightmove are going to do to counteract the Say No to Rightmove campaign?
I don't know. I hope that they'll engage properly. I hope that they'll talk properly. I've offered myself on more than one occasion to have a chat, a proper conversation, and I've done that for on and off account manager level. I've done it long time ago. Been to Rightmove's offices. I have a load of ideas, as do most of the estate agents up and down the country. I just don't feel they're adopted. I don't feel there's a real strategy by Rightmove to engage with their customer. You definitely see that more so with Zoopla, and you definitely see that more so with On the Market, trying to get an understanding. And again, to be balanced, the other challenger portals are very much all about that. They're very much all your open bricks, your property heads, they are all about understanding the client and trying to fit a service around the client. That's got to be the future. Tech businesses cannot tell us what to do. They can't keep telling us that we're rubbish and they've got the solution. Tech businesses need to react to what we need and shape us finer tuned. But the relationships feel very, very, when they're not working well, they feel out of kilter. They feel out of kilter. Agents up and down the country know what they need to do. They know what they've got to do. They need help.
What positive communications have you had with Rightmove? It almost... say your bit first before I...
Very little, because they are slow. They are traditionally slow to react. In fairness, I had several calls in the run-up at the beginning of this campaign, and it did end up with me shouting down the phone to try and make them aware of what was going on in the marketplace. And
at what level were you talking to? Did you go to the top?
Each time it's piped straight into the absolute top, and the earliest conversations were direct to Peter Brooks Johnson, so it was in at the very, very top. And in fairness, I think they were running a bit behind what was going out in the real world, and then they did step up. And I said at the time, it's a mistake to go with a 75% discount, because you will actually force agents to determine their contracts. And some agents have determined their contracts off the back of that strategy. I've said this before, one other commentator said that this was a great time for agents to press pause and re-look at themselves. I'll tell you what, this is a fantastic time for portals to press pause and re-look at their offering. And they've got this lovely window here, and they've got agents who are willing to talk to them. Don't just run round and just try and put sticking plasters over broken relationships. Look at something that's going to work for the immediate short term as we come out of this, and that can be built out going forward.
When was the last time you had a meaningful conversation with the CEO, Peter, or someone at board director level?
Peter, probably a decade ago. And Simon Fielden. In fairness to him, we touch base on a weekly basis. It's probably a little bit more absorbing, by them, and a little bit more output by me. But they haven't shut the door on me, and that has to be said.
Some people might not know who Simon is, so probably just explain what his role is.
He reports into the main board. He's I think the chief sales and marketing, not sales and marketing, chief of sales, I believe is his title. If I could get it up while we're in mid-conversation, I'd be able to get his title. But he reports straight into the main board. And
you're talking to them on a weekly basis, but basically, do you think they're listening? Are they giving you feedback?
Sorry, talking to them I reach out to them. I've had conversations in previous weeks. This last week it was email. An email was requesting what's coming next, and I've asked them what's coming next. I said, is there something coming at the end of the 4 months? They haven't. The response was relatively short. They didn't rule out that there would be. They didn't turn around and say to me, no, they're not doing anything. But they said it's. I think the worst effect of the email was it's a little bit early in the cycle to decide exactly. And I suspect that as with all of these public companies, they'll make their announcements at their own pace, and whether I can force that or not, we'll wait and see.
Do you think Rightmove care about the UK estate agency industry?
No, I think they care about their business, and I think they care about their share price, and I think they care about their revenues. But do they genuinely care about what we do and understand it? I think they need to catch back up. I think they need to go into a period of kind of really engage. The engagement between, and ask other agents, Chris, and I hope other agents will comment. Most of our engagement is fairly dictatorial from them. They tell us what we're about. They tell us all the leads we missed. There's very little coming back the other way as to, with my business in particular, not once did a meeting start, well, Rob, what was your expansion plans? Have you succeeded with your expansion plans this year? What's your hopes for next year? And how can we help you? All of it's around, you're bashed over the head. You've supplied these amounts of leads. You've stupidly not managed to convert these leads. If you were better, you could do better. And that's a very typical, very, very typical method of engagement. And again, they have the wherewithal to change that. They have the wherewithal to change that and be better at it.
Why do you think they are that way? Why do you think that they're more caring? I mean, they have a responsibility to their shareholders and their other stakeholders. Why do you think they've lost the love for UK?
Driving of short-term returns all the time. I know it in my business. If you pursue the big bucks today and you squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it, it just won't sustain. So it's chasing that. If I took all my profits out of my business and spent them on myself, or used them as pure remuneration to my people, that money's taken off the table for future development. Rightmove have, and I ask an analyst, but Rightmove has spent hundreds of millions of pounds on buying their own shares. Why don't they spend that on the industry? Why don't they spend that on their own research and development? Why don't they spend that on modernisation of their product base, things that might be really, really useful to the public and to the agents? That's what it's all about. If I ripped all the profit out of my company and threw it to all of my staff, my company's not going to improve year on
year. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
Are you actually working for Rightmove as a market researcher so they can use your surveys to plan their way forward?
I bet they wish I was. And I tell you what, I'm here to talk to them. So, and they can have me for nothing. So, I'll tell them what I think for nothing. And I hear myself keep saying the word I. The agents that have got involved with us.
Is that a no?
Really,
so that is a no, that you are not invested with Rightmove. They have not offered you any consideration for anything.
No. But I just wanted to clarify, the information that I have and the market knowledge that I have isn't just my own. The agents have been really, really good. Really, really good. The interactions are really good. I'm trying to lead most of the interactions. So I just wanted to replace the I with we, because it's not. This isn't a one-man campaign.
Okay, then let's move on. You've brought on Agents Union, Boycott Rightmove, and Revolution Estate Agency 2020. Are they getting any kickbacks to come on board with you?
I would love to know where these kickbacks are coming from, and if there was a big source of money. But no, absolutely not. We had a good meeting. I think it must be about 2 weeks. No, 2 Fridays ago. 2 Fridays ago, and we agreed that they would support Say No to Rightmove because, in fairness, we've got an infrastructure and we're quite well organised. We also agreed that they would maintain their own identity as organisations, but they would get behind us. They're clearly 3 very active Facebook groups, and we're looking at ways to work together, share information, but they're going to get behind the thrust of our campaign.
Okay, right. Okay. Why have you all come together? What's their motivation? Surely they are watering down their own campaigns, or are you trying to bring the whole campaign together as one voice?
Yeah, good question. To bring about change, if you lined up 5 estate agents right now, pick any 5 estate agents up and down the country, the thing that I've learned again in the last month is that each one is in a very different position. So each one's ability to act is varied. So it's very, very important that our campaign doesn't polarise the supporters. Not everybody can just jump now. I was talking to an agent at the weekend, large agent. They're in a contract. They're 18 months. They're thrashing around, looking for ways to take action now. They'll find a way. They've got a couple of ideas that mean that they can take an action now. Then you've got ones that are either out of contract or are on rolling contracts, and they've taken action. They've taken action. So they're not watering down they're not watering down their own campaigns. They realise that to get from where we are now to where we hope to be, we've got to find a way to facilitate action that works for each agent that's supporting us.
And just to revisit what the long-term aims are, the long-term aim is not to kill Rightmove. It is to make Rightmove listen to the industry, adapt, and improve themselves, be more realistic in their pricing, and potentially look at other portals, but not at the expense of Rightmove. Is that it in a nutshell?
Yeah, Rightmove have the ability to choose their own destiny, really, I think, and that's up to them. So, and they've got the resources to do it. They've got the resources to respond to the call for change. So, yeah, a freer market that isn't monopolised in the way it is at the moment. But the agents control that. It's us to choose. It's us to choose.
So on Monday the 27th, how many individual firms do you have, or how many offices do they have under your banner?
Around about, under our banner, owners are around about 1,400. It'll be between 1,350 and 1,450. The new numbers will all be in, and we're at about 2007 to 2008. Bear in mind the recruitment's done properly. We validate who people are, etc., etc. The target for the end of the month is 3,000 offices. That's for the end of the month. We'll get there, no problem.
Okay, now there's approximately 18,000 estate agency offices. Some say 20,000. We'll go conservatively at 18,000. Let's knock the corporates off, which brings us down to 16,000. And let's even be even more conservative. 15,000 independent agents. you've only got 1 in 5 offices. What
Yeah,
about
at the moment.
the majority that are not all on social media? I get a feeling that some of these groups, everyone, you're preaching to the converted. What about the other 12,000 are not saying anything? And do remember that when I published that video with Robert
Chris,
May,
you're just sticking. Yeah.
when I published that video with Robert May, the estate agency today said, are Rightmove good or bad for the industry? And 4 out of 10 agents said they were good. Now, of course, that could have been, allegedly, filled up with people from certain portals trying to hit the nice button. But you still haven't got the majority of the agents. What are you doing to get that message out there?
Chris, yeah, you can tell me when Rightmove started and built their business. We have got, let's call it 20% ish of the market in 4 weeks. 3.5 weeks if you count from when I went from just complaining on behalf of Acorn to taking it seriously. So we've moved an enormous distance in a very short space of time. We weren't initially purposed to do this. We are now. So if I continue at this trajectory, where I'll be in 12 weeks. So, and again, we have a team. The agents are working with us, and the agents are now beginning to work on the organic growth piece as well. Don't forget, I am reaching out to larger organisations and bigger companies. They are all talking to me happily. We're not in a position to bring them into the sort of forefront of our campaign. They've got various situations of their own to deal with, but that will happen going forward. And that I haven't spoken to anybody that isn't sympathetic to our campaign or the ethos that it projects.
You see, someone said Rightmove will only feel a threat if the larger agents in every area make the first move. So you're talking obviously the big 3 corporates, and then also on top you've got the Acorns. There are a good 30-40 of Acorn-sized groups around the country. Yeah. Are you saying that you are talking to those larger agents and potentially, hopefully, bringing them on board for your campaign?
Yeah, bringing them on board. The larger agents I reach out to and speak to, and bringing them on board, I don't know. Whether they find ways to move alongside us, whether they're negotiating hard within their own arenas. It's not appropriate for me to comment on that, and in honesty, I don't have permission to comment on that. But as of yet, I've had conversations with lots of agents, and they don't differ regardless of size, other than the big 3 corporates. They don't differ from the ethos that I'm projecting at the moment. They want better treatment, they want fairer rates, they want better engagement. So there is no different. But I've only been doing this, Chris. We have only been doing this for a very short space of time, and with help. And that's help up and down the country from our key supporting agents. We will grow this bigger than it is, and we will turn the support into action.
Okay, let's finish off with a couple of meaty questions. Rightmove are just not going to roll over. They are going to respond to any attack if they think it is a viable attack. Let's say, because they have a slush fund and they invest 20 million quid in a consumer campaign along the lines of, if your property isn't on Rightmove, you're missing out on thousands of buyers, and therefore potentially your home will sell for less than it's worth. How are you going to look your listers in the eye and say, why is it, when vendors say, why isn't my property on Rightmove, and they lose the listing?
Yeah, I understand the question, and that's why at the moment the main focus is around the big 3 portals, because it is important to be able to promote your vendors' properties correctly. So that is important. But if there is a significant move of stock away from Rightmove will lose whole of market. Once whole of market is shifted, then public opinion will go with it. There's quite a big piece to reverse this kind of network effect that's been going on for a decade or more. It won't be overnight, but there is no reason, at the extreme, there is no reason for agents to have to pay a portal to promote their property. A good central portal, well organised, well run, could make their money in other ways rather than tariffing the agents. But we're not going to get there, Chris. We're not going to get there overnight. We're not going to get, it would be ridiculous to suggest that tomorrow that came into the market and that would galvanise all support instantly. Once agents realise that they can move together, they can resist, they can and should say no, that will change the landscape really quickly. Rightmove are dividing and conquering on a daily, weekly basis, and it's been going on too long.
I mean, I did a back of the fag packet calculation. According to their PLC report, they put 900,000 properties on, and based on the average cost per lister of £1,088, it actually costs them just under £6 a property per Rightmove. I mean, they could put a campaign out that says it will cost your agent less than £5.76 a month to advertise on your property on Rightmove. Isn't your home worth it? Again, your listers could lose properties.
Yeah, you could break that analysis also. You could break analysis all sorts of different ways to look at it. What you've really got to look at is in P&L terms, the amount of spend that's going out the door from, let's take your average one office firm, the amount of spend that's going out the door on portals. Look at their margin as a business. Look at their procurement costs in reality. Is it good value? I think that's a very distorted figure. And I'm thinking on the hoof right now. I mean, how much money is spent by the agent to get that where it is? That's the enormous investment that's going on from an agency perspective. So it isn't £5.67. It's fixed costs, marketing. It's all the properties you value that don't come on. It's all the fall throughs. It's the true costs of getting it there. Forget what you pay for it when it's there. That's what the real problem is, and we're doing that for Rightmove. We're almost like an extended workforce, but we're not being paid. So I think it's I'm talking about getting it listed on the portal. There's my guys and girls, and I'm sure the agents up and down, they work Saturdays, they work Sundays, they go out late at night. The cost of having these people running around for a portal to get the best stock, the best content, probably some of the best content in the world property-wise, is delivered by my people and my fellow estate agents, and nobody's paying us for that other than we pay ourselves through what we do. The portal's getting that free, I think.
One final question. I want you to look down your webinar camera and say and give a message to that one-man band estate agent who's been going 5, 10, 15 years, who's absolutely shit scared, fearful that by leaving Rightmove or associating themselves with this campaign, that they could be detrimental to Rightmove if the beast doesn't get killed. That they are fearful that it'll be used against them when they're at the free valuation and their listers come back and say, I've lost it because we're not on Rightmove. What's your final message to that estate agency boss watching this video now?
I think it's very, very important with your staff to look at what the real reasons are as to why you win and lose valuations and instructions. Sometimes the portal argument is actually used as an excuse by a vendor, to be brutally honest, that maybe they weren't quite happy with what they'd heard. So that's important. Have a real look at where your leads truly come from. Just the fact they came in through that Rightmove channel, go back and properly interrogate that and have a proper look at that. And then in terms of staying with a supplier because you're scared that your competitor will stay with the supplier when you've left, I think there's a mood of change. I think there is a mood of change coming over the horizon. Look at how quickly we've galvanised the support. Talk to your competitors. Speak to them. I'm seeing and I'm feeling people that don't want to continue to be divided in the way they are. So it's a big jump. Yes, there are options out there that will help you parachute out from where you are. And I firmly believe that if agents take the situation in their own hands, you will see a structural change to this marketplace.
Thank you for your time today. Just for the record, I am not affiliated with the Say No to Rightmove campaign or any anti-Rightmove or portal campaign. I am neither associated or have any money or consideration from any portal on the other side. In fact, none of my 1,200 videos I've ever taken a penny for. I do it off my own back because I consider myself independent. I have no portal to sell. And I just wanted to use this opportunity to use that independence to talk to people in the industry. And I'm humbled that people will listen. Rob, thank you for your time today. I know this won't be our last interview.
Cheers, Chris.
Thank you for your honesty. And if anyone's got any questions, put them in the comments and just take it from there. Because, mate, I will just say on a very personal level, it takes some balls to stand up above the parapet, and there's a lot of fearful agents out there. And it's just tall poppy syndrome, mate. I applaud you in what you're doing. I wish you well. You put your money where your mouth is. And I just want to say to UK estate agents is be brave. You don't need the portals. In fact, I've gone on record to say you don't actually need any portals if you want to sell houses or let houses. But that's another video for another day. Thank you for your time today, Rob. You're an absolute star.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much.